Good morning to all of you. Welcome to Legal Matters by Sai Babu Sunkara. In this video, Jurisprudence class, we are discussing the kinds of laws. In the last video, classification, here the kinds of laws. So many kinds of laws are there. We'll discuss one by one. Imperative law or scientific law or physical law, then natural law or moral law, then the so-called conventional law, then customary law, then practical or technical law, then international law, already we discussed, then civil law, law of civil procedure code, then martial law, and also foreign law is international law. These are the kinds of laws. Normally we discuss 8 kinds. So first is imperative law. So imperative law, law is the command of the sovereign. When you discuss in jurisprudence, when you study the imperative school or analytical school propounded by or founded by John Austin, you will be knowing what is imperative law. It is imperative. The command of the sovereign has to be accepted. You have to think law as it is, but not as it ought to be. So it is otherwise called as the divine law. Please remember, it prescribes a general course of action. Command of the God, law of positive morality is old law. Then coming to physical or scientific law. This is physically proved, scientifically proved. So Newton's third law of motion. So these are all scientific laws, laws of science, laws of tides, laws of nature. So these are all physical law. Then coming to moral law, of course, moral principles of law, definitely they will be accepted. Of course, they cannot be enforced. But the principles of natural justice, which came from the so-called natural law, they have to be accepted. Ad alteram partem, for example, yes, you have to hear the other side. One should not be a judge in his own cause. Yes, it is correct. So this is what is called moral law. Of course, it is unwritten law. It is common law. It is eternal law. So it is universally obeyed in all places. Of course, it cannot be enforced. This is the main problem. Then conventional law. Conventional law means the rules framed by the persons to conduct with each other. Conventional law. So suppose if you want to go to the law of easements, yes, it is by convention. Customary law. Okay, you all know customary law. Custom is to society, whereas law is to the state. What is custom? Custom is a habit which was in practice for the time immemorial, and the persons who framed the custom, they are not at all seen. We can't find them. ఎప్పటి ఏ కాలం నుంచో అలవాటు. Of course, good customs only accepted, and customary law, it is accepted. Even as per section 13 and 48 of the Indian Code Act at present, yes, the custom can be proved. This is customary law. Then practical law. Of course, practical law is, so already I told you, practical means should be proved, scientifically proved, beyond all reasonable doubt. So this is health laws, laws relating to health, laws relating to architecture. So these are all health in the so-called practical laws. Then the so-called international law. International law, already in my last video I have given the definition as the rules that govern, or the body of rules that govern the conduct and relationship between each state. That means state to state. Civil law. So day in and day out we have been discussing civil law. That is a code of civil procedure. Civil law relates to rights and liabilities. Suppose if any person occupies your land, it is a civil law. If anybody does not give you the salary, it is a civil law. Like that, so many obligations are there. Then declaration suits, partition suits, and property, that is, if you give money on promissory note and he does not pay, yes, it is a civil law. Okay, then martial law, this is important. Martial law means it is equal to military law. So normally, if a military man commits an offense, so there are martial courts. So they will conduct the trial, and they will, of course, they need not follow the so-called procedural wrangles of just like our courts. So Kulbhushan Jadhav case is one of the best examples. Kulbhushan Jadhav is a retired Navy officer. He was caught in Pakistan, and martial court tried and given him the execution, that means death sentence. So martial law is that problematic. So you may be knowing, while discussing the human rights, I have told you that martial law should not be imposed without consent of parliament. This has come in England. So martial law means relating to military law. Very serious law. Then foreign law, of course. While discussing the CPC, in relation to section 13 and 14 of the CPC, we are going to discuss you when foreign judgment can be held conclusive. It's because we have conglomeration of so many other countries also. Sometimes we have to accept the universally accepted principles of law, like res geste or estoppel or things like that. So if the foreign law is inconsonant with Indian law, definitely it has to be accepted. The best case, because there will be conflict. Best case is, so this is Robinson Vs Blatd. Robinson Vs Blatd 1760. Actually, so this Blatd has taken some money from Robinson in France. Robinson has advanced him some money. What for? For gaming debt. So packard ఆడుకోవడానికి వాడికి డబ్బులు ఇచ్చాడు. He did not repay. He filed a case. విచిత్రం ఏంటంటే ఫ్రాన్స్లో allowed, but this man Blatd belonged to England అనుకోండి. ఇంగ్లాండ్లో ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఎ కేస్. ఇట్స్ నాట్ అన్ అఫెన్స్. ఎందుకంటే అసలు డబ్బులు ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇల్లీగల్. ఐఎమ్ సారీ, నాట్ అన్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇల్లీగల్. మరి ఇల్లీగల్ అని కోర్టులో కేసు వేయడం అనుకుంటుందా? ఇక్కడ కాన్ఫ్లిక్ట్ ఆఫ్ లాస్ అంటే ఇదే. సో ఫ్రెంచ్ లా అలౌస్ గేమింగ్ డెట్స్, వెరాజ్ ఇంగ్లీష్ లా ఇట్ విల్ నాట్ అలౌ. దెన్ వాట్ టు డూ? ఇదన్నమాట ప్రాబ్లం. ప్లీజ్ రిమెంబర్. సో ప్రైవేట్ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ లా బై ఫ్రాన్స్లో అది ఒప్పుకుంది కాబట్టి గో అండ్ ఫైల్ ఎ కేస్ ఇన్ ఫ్రాన్స్. సో అకార్డింగ్ టు ద టర్మ్స్ అండ్ అగ్రిమెంట్స్ దే విల్ డిసైడ్. This is the importance of the private international law as well as the so-called foreign law. So these are the 10 different types of laws, so kinds of laws. So please read them and enrich your legal knowledge. Thank you very much.